Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Every Minute on the Mic. I'm your host, Alex Sterner, Jiu-Jitsu black belt, strength coach for Jiu-Jitsu athletes. And today I'm joined with one of my Jiu-Jitsu athletes, the illustrious Joey Balistreri. And today we're going to flip the script a bit. Today, Joey is going to coach me. You might be thinking to yourself, what are his qualifications? Why does Joey get to coach me? This is fitness, guys. There are no qualifications. They're all fake. Joey is actually a 1%er in fitness just by training in our facility. So Joey's going to really bestow some wisdom on us. He's also in charge of the timer, which makes me a little bit nervous because I don't know how Joey does.
15 seconds.
Oh, God. And maybe he'll be a stickler. I don't know. I've never really been coached by Joey, so I'm new to this as well. We're going through this together. Joey, anything you want to say?
You have 4 seconds. We're getting so anabolically strong today. It's going to be fucking amazing.
Like I said, Joey is overqualified. So Joey, hit me with that first question.
So the first question is, why did you pick me?
Why did I pick you? Joey, I have a couple YouTube videos that do well with you. I think that Joey's natural talents are really hidden from the world in jiu-jitsu. This guy deserves to be on camera. You know, he adds a little bit of character, something that sometimes I'm lacking. You're just dumb. I'm
going to fucking murder you today. Okay?
Also, today I'm doing conventional deadlifts. This is a project lift of mine. I've gotten called out a lot. I'm adding some thoracic rounding a little bit. I think an EMOM is a great outlet for me to really get some volume work in. Today I'm doing it with 425.
10 seconds.
Okay. And I'm pretty psyched about it, despite having this coach here. How'd my first rep look, Joey?
It looked absolutely awful, but we're going to improve over time.
Okay,
right?
I agree.
You know, the bell curve of you get it. Yeah.
That's actually the kind of coaching I need. Joey, next question.
So there's a curve. Anyway, does SMR or foam rolling actually do anything useful? Now, before you blabber on and do some bullshit answer, what the fuck is SMR? Is that
That's
like
a great question.
The ASMR, but without the A? So
no.
Without the autoerotic or whatever ASMR stands for?
Not even close.
Okay.
The reason you don't know what that is, Joey, is because I'm actually
overqualified.
Yes, you're overqualified. No, you're actually so based that you don't waste your time with silly bullshit. In all seriousness, I think if you use SMR or foam rolling for yourself, there's no issue with that. You can totally do that if you feel that it gives you a window to train. But I do not think it's absolutely necessary. And I think if you have an underlying issue, load management, there's lots of other strategies that can serve you way, way better.
So TLDR on him saying that is that shut the fuck up and lift with your spine. Am I getting this right?
I think you got the important details.
See, as a very qualified
Joey,
coach,
next question.
Know this. Anyway, why has S&C, it's cool if you say S&C instead of strength and conditioning. Why has S&C been so bad in combat sports for so long? Alex Sterner.
That's a great question. I'm actually working on another YouTube video. Faraz Sahabi responded to my critique video of his S&C. Yeah, great MMA coach. But I think it's a pretty common thing that you see where people step outside of their lane. They're really established in one field. He's a great MMA coach, don't get me wrong. But a lot of his thoughts on strength and conditioning
15 seconds
aren't really backed up by all that much other than loose observation. So I think we get a lot of spillover from people who just are not that qualified.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever you just said was dumb. Lift this shit off the ground. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, coach.
Nice, good leg drive. Yes, nice. So your thoracic needs to be more
Joey, next question.
Sorry. How would you program for those with short time or less days? Because there's some people that don't have 24 hours in a day, and there's also some people that don't have 7 days a week.
There's some people that have to listen to you talking so much that they don't have time for anything. I've got minimalist programs on Team EP. I have another video on this channel. If you check out my lifting over 40 for jiu-jitsu, I give a free minimalist program. You can do a lot if you have a very little volume that you do. You train at a high degree of effort. 2 45-minute sessions is more than enough. So if you're busy dealing with people like Joey that yap forever, or if you have a family, whatever that may be, a busy job, you can absolutely lift and do jiu-jitsu.
10 seconds.
I'm
drinking a Yappuccino.
Without quitting your job.
Yeah. Another like whatever, blah, blah, blah. Lift weights off the ground. like this, but do it better. Anyways,
Getting better.
next question is, anything fascia is gold? I don't think that's a question. I think it's more of a statement.
It is a statement. I agree.
Is fascia located in the ass?
Yes, actually. Mostly because it's everywhere.
Is the fascia the...
It's stored in the balls. That's actually all you guys need to know. The fascia is stored in the balls.
Is it the G-spot of the body?
Oh my God.
Is it? I'm asking. I'm overqualified. I don't talk about stupid shit like fascia.
It's like drunk history, but it's Joey going over anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about fascia. I think muscles, tendons, bone, there's a lot of tissues that we should worry about long before we ever consider fascia. A lot of the research done on fascia is done on rats, where they isolate the fascia. They found
5 seconds.
Quote unquote contractile. 5 seconds? Jesus. Anyways, it translates in the thickest part of the body. If you extrapolate out the contractile properties of fascia in the thoracolumbar fascia, you get about 2 newtons of force, less than a pound. It's not worth thinking about. It's not worth focusing on.
I'll show you my fascia.
Please don't show me your fascia.
Anyway, next question is, hi.
That's a great question. Hello. Okay, next question, Joey.
Whoa. I've been asked this many times. Can sets of 3 grow muscle?
Yes.
If I do 3 sets right now, will my
Please don't think too hard. Numbers are tough for Joey.
My muscle grow?
Sets of 3 can absolutely grow muscle. People get too focused on the rep range. The real thing that is going to allow you to grow muscle is effort. And importantly, if we're doing anything, sets of under 5 with a high degree of effort, you're getting those high threshold motor units, you're placing tension on them. That's super, super necessary. That's actually the only thing that's necessary for muscle growth.
Imagine saying motor units and we're not talking about cars. Like, that's crazy. Anyways.
Like I said, Joey's overqualified.
Let's wrap that one up. Great rep, by the way. I'm really liking your leg drive. I'm seeing that your quadriceps are working well. Your thoracic spine is doing well. Anyway, next question is, does it make a difference if 7 training sessions, in parentheses, lifting and BJJ, are spread out through 6 or 7 days? How important is a full rest day?
Joey, not asking you. Okay. In general, I think that when you start to get really good at focusing on intensity as opposed to just volume or fatigue from your lifting, you can stack both in the same day. And I like to do lifting first, if at all possible.
10 seconds.
You didn't give me much time, Joey. Reading is tough for him. Anyways, I think a rest day is important. Get used to stacking some of those days and you can earn those rest days in your week.
My issue is this book doesn't have any pictures in it. So that's why I can't. Misa cannot read well.
I don't know how many rounds I've done.
You've done...
It's getting tough.
Plenty. We're just getting started. This is a long one, but do you think sprinting is important / beneficial for Gen Pop? Who cares about the Gen Pop, right? We want the elite of the elite. If so, how would you incorporate sprinting?
I think sprinting is super important. Sprinting and jumping are things that most people stop doing around high school, and then they wonder why explosiveness tanks after the age of 30. Now, it's also super stressful. Things like hamstring pulls or tears are common if you're not accommodated to it. Stuff that I like to do is more like tempo work, where you're not quite going 100% with your sprinting. You can get a bit more volume in there. You can get some tissue tolerance to sprinting, to those higher velocities, those greater forces with short ground contacts. And you can work your way up to more maximal effort. Don't jump straight into it. What?
Why are you so out of breath?
It's getting tough, Joey.
This should be easy.
Maybe I'm having a heart attack. Do you do CPR?
I know, mouth to mouth. Look at how much effort he put into that fucking lift right there, because I am
sabotaging me.
Anyways, I think we're on round 8. How does overall fatigue affect tissue adaptation? For instance, can I still trigger adaptation when lifting, while lifting in a week if I'm beat up from BJJ?
Okay, super good question. I think if we're looking at fatigue over the course of a week and it's just accumulating like that, we have to do something. First off, with our jiu-jitsu, do some sessions more so for skill acquisition. Don't treat every round like you absolutely have to win it.
That's a lie.
I think this is from Jeremy back home. You're pretty skilled, dude. You can, when you go with less good partners, you can be workshopping techniques a bit more. Then with your lifting, really focus on intensity and try to dial back total volume. You can find you can fit more sessions in per week that they're not as stressful.
Layman's terms, less gooder people, less fatiguey.
Also,
more gooder people, more fatiguey.
And in Joey language, less sets, more harder.
More, yes. This is kind of a longer question, so I'll make sure I make it quick. I won't do any kind of preamble or anything like that.
God.
Okay. What tricks help you manage fatigue, intensity, frequency, and volume in yourself and your athletes? I find myself stuck between grinding myself into the ground and scaling back so much that I don't make any progress.
Okay, continuation from that last one. I think focusing on intensity when we can and limiting volume. You don't need to do 5 sets for an exercise. Do 3, even do 2. If you do 2 hard sets, it's not going to have a super high fatigue cost. And if you're training relatively close to failure, you're going to see progress and changes over time. It doesn't have to be every week, but it should trend that way month by month.
You're doing excellent.
Oh God, thank you.
You're my star student.
Am I the best deadlifter you ever coached?
No. No. Not even close.
Who else have you coached?
I've coached
Okay, next question.
a lot of people. What would you prioritize when planning out a home gym? Well, I'll answer this one. You'd want, a Smith machine. You'd want
Smith machine might be kind of tight. I think a barbell is really useful. You can actually adjust loading. A lot of people will say stuff like kettlebells. But you'd have to have so many kettlebells to actually adjust it to the different exercises and stuff that you want to do.
But also, kettlebells are fucking lame.
I'm not going to disagree with that. And adjustable dumbbells can also do great. They're a bit more expensive, but they don't take up much space, and you can just sort of snap them in there, readjust them to the weight that you need. Adjustable dumbbells, barbell, and a rack is going to serve you really, really well.
Just get the shake weight. That's it. That's all you. That's all you need.
I have this guy here.
That's all you need is a
Joey,
shake
I'm dying.
weight. You're dying? Good. Let's die more. So I want you to know something real quick. As a coach who knows a lot of shit, do you notice how the bar is moving slower now?
Help me.
It's because he's ass at this. But we're going to get better today. Okay. Next question is, I'm bad at gauging weight when I lift. Does your app program what weight should I be lifting?
Okay, so the app will give recommendations, but I'm a huge believer in learning how to gauge how many reps you have in reserve, how many reps you are from failure at any point in time. If you're within 5 reps of failure, it's productive. So on a day when you're kind of fatigued, do something that's more like 3, 4, or 5 reps from failure. On a day when you've got a bit more energy, when you're a bit more fresh, get closer to failure. And as you work through a program, you should be working your way closer to failure, but gauging it based on effort, not what you did last time and not on what some app says you should do.
See, that's such a lame cop-out answer. The answer is lift more. Alex's spine is going to break today because we're just lifting more.
I do think a lot of people kind of overestimate or give too much credence to the fact that they might hurt themselves while lifting. If you can just establish consistency first, this is the way I like to term it. Intensity is the variable that drives progress. Consistency is the variable that makes intensity safe. So first things first, establish that consistency. If you're on my app, start running a program, hit those same sessions week by week. And from there, up your intensity week by week, up that proximity to failure. So you're getting closer and closer to failure. That is going to serve you way more than going off percentages or what an app says you should be doing. That is the way that you can train consistently, and any outsourcing of that decision making is doing you a disservice, and you're not getting better at it.
I would love to unsubscribe from this blabbering bullshit. All you need to know is weight go up.
I think I got like one more in me.
Weight go up.
I only got one more in me.
Bullshit.
This is tough.
You got 3 sets left.
Okay, what do we got? What's the next question?
Okay. The question is how to gain strength and stay at a weight class.
So you can't magically gain weight out of nowhere. The only way you can gain weight is by taking in more food. So be mindful of your intake. If your weight is going up, it's not because you're lifting too heavy. You should be able to lift and progress your weights and not increase intake. That's going to allow you to stay at that weight class. Super common question. A lot of people have that stuff wrong. If I had 2 prisoners of war that were starving to death and I had one of them lifting weights 3 times a week, he would starve to death faster. The only way you can gain weight is by adding matter to the system, by eating. by using that big fascia mouth of yours, Joey. Your fascia hole.
This fascia hole has lots of fascia, and it eats a lot.
I might actually break my spine today.
So the reason why his spine's gonna break is because it's attached to a pussy.
15.
So okay. I'm going on a limb here to assume that this has not been answered. Thoughts on voodoo flossing?
I answered that last week, Joey.
Well, we're out of questions.
We're out of questions, so we're done. We're done.
No. We have 2 more sets.
We don't have 2 more
So
sets.
I'm gonna come off. Okay, I'm gonna go on. You better get ready to lift that fucking weight.
How much time do I have, Joey?
You have 15 seconds. I'm gonna come up with some questions right now. Is pee stored in the balls?
Yes, we've been through that. And mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. I have no blood left in my brain.
Good.
It's all in my fascia.
Good. This is where peak retardation comes out.
We don't use that word on this channel, Joey.
We do.
That's strike 1.
Now we just do.
Strike 1.
I have 2.
I think we're done, dude.
No, we have one last one.
All right, Joey, think of a question.
I have the most important question.
We're losing viewers as we speak,
No.
as you speak.
I've just gained us 1,000 more followers.
Oh, wow.
So you're welcome. The most important question is, what makes you happy?
That's a tough one. I think doing things I enjoy with my friends. You know, lifting
Me.
heavy with the bros.
Me.
Doing some jiu-jitsu with the
Me.
bros. Tenka just walked in earlier. You know, sometimes getting my ass beat by Tenka. That can be fun. When he's not actually trying to hurt me, which does happen sometimes. Sometimes there's some bad blood, you know. Maybe I open my mouth a little too much. He gets mad at me. Got to teach me a lesson.
That was a really long, drawn-out question and answer.
Oh, my God.
And congratulations, big boy. Guess what? You did it.
Chicken butt.
So we're going to take a 10-minute break, and you're going to do this again.
Yeah, no way.
Because guess what? We're going to increase stimulus by making sure that we're focusing on our anal glands. So go handle your business there, then we're going to get right back after it.
So guys, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry that you had to suffer through Joey's philosophy. If you liked it, let me know. If you disliked it, you're not going to hurt his feelings. It's actually not possible to hurt Joey's feelings. Let me know what you think about having a guest. I will have more guests if you want. I'll bring Joey back if you want. I will tell him to never come back to this gym if you guys want. Either way, thank you for tuning in. This was another EMOM. Yeah, you got any closing remarks, Joey?
I will be back. By force or by vote, I will be back.
That's scary. All right, see you guys. We'll tune in next week.
Bye. I love you.